Connect to my software. That only took 5 minutes. So sorry for the delay. All right, well, hey, better get ready for another Cosas Verdes live show. We're going to cover Bitcoin and Ethereum first, and then I'll skip to the questions. And again, if there's anybody new on here, I usually only have time to answer the questions from the YouTube tier members, and those are the folks who in the live chat have the emblem with a star and circle inside of a circle by their name. So that's part of the benefits of being in the YouTube tier. I take priority to their questions along with super chats, and Bitcoin's still going sideways. Can't go sideways too much longer, or can it? That's going to be the question. So Bitcoin is deciding to be rather boring, but because the large term timeframes are expanding in volatility, this is just a quick hiatus in the small timeframes with reduced volatility, and once they expand, they will be expanding into larger time frame volatility. For the meantime, the range that I expect is going to be roughly where you see these dancing candles behind me, right there, with the smash like thing. So I think price will stay between what we're going to cover down here. However, there is one more target up above here that Bitcoin could hit, which is 17.6, and I want to show you what that is. It's the bottom of the origin line and why it's very, very likely to pull back strong there. Doesn't mean it can't get over, but it would probably have to take a break, form a higher low. So let me show you downside immediate target. So we're going to focus on short-term timeframes today. Downside immediate targets, upside immediate targets, and what's going to happen in the middle. How are you going to be able to tell when that's going to be initiated one side to the other? Because we've had so much sideways movement, something's got to trigger it. I think I know what that is, so let's go get some Bitcoin. Let's get this done. We are 2 days into extremely unvolatile price. Yeah, right at 2 days in. Let me adjust this bad boy a little bit. There we go. So you see this a little bit better. What is going to trigger a move to the upside is this line right here. Let me zoom out and show you what that is, and I'll take a quick moment to show you how to draw it yourself. Once you see it, you might want it on your chart, and for new viewers, whether you're on the stream or the recorded version, you're not going to probably see this anywhere else. So this is the 64K top over here. So that's why you go ahead and hit the smash button. Smash Brothers button. Smash the like and subscribe. And hit the bell for all alerts. All right, so this line gets some pretty big pivots. The macro higher low right here, the 64K top, the first higher low, big drop down support, big drop down, and price is getting rejected by it right now. Like, this is going to be the trigger. And you're going to be zooming into the tiny, tiny micro time frames, and that's what we're looking at. It's extremely significant for this entire bear market and before, since the 64K top. So going back to the 15-minute chart, let me show you a quick version of how I think this might move. Let me take myself off here. So these are two ways that I think it can move down to that green line. And I think it will be an explosive move up to the origin line. Is it possible that price just continues going sideways? Yeah, it is, but that's not going to be my favorite guess right now, because technically the range behind me, it isn't that volatile still. And I think the small term timeframes need to expand and they're going to be, like I said earlier, they're going to be expanding into larger, like 2-day and 1-day and 5-day volatility increases. So let me take this off. And if you like to be able to see price paths like this on a chart, so you can tell how price will move, you know, I had this timed with the daily open, because when you go sideways almost the entire day, you know by about 2 p.m. New York, if you're going to get a move, it's not happening until right around the daily close. Sometimes starts an hour before. There are some exceptions. You'll have one spike up or spike down around 420-ish when the traditional markets close. But if it doesn't happen at 420, then you know, hey, I'm going to wait at least 3 hours before the next, or 2.5 to 3 hours before the next move hits. And so those price paths that you're seeing kind of represent that as well. So if you like that sort of thing, then I offer that. My live chart, as it says up here, it's only available to the Discord members and the YouTube Cryptillion tier throughout the week, and then I'll open it up to everybody on the weekends. All right, so let's check this out. And a lot of people prefer that because it's better than setting your own lines and going to your own chart. You can just see it on video real quick, all the lines that are important to me. So let me do TA so you don't have to type of deal. All right. Let's do this. Let me show you how to draw that line. Take these guys off here. To do this, I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart, I do believe. Might have to be the 8-hour. Yep, I'm going to go to the 8-hour chart. And if you have the free version of TradingView and you wanted to follow along, you'd probably have to use the daily. So it actually starts right, at the top. My line specifically is just a little bit above it, mostly due to the very major things that happen as you come this way. And it makes, so at first when I was making this, yes, I had it aligned with here, but I think it looks better. It works out better if it's just over it. So that's where it starts. And around that formation, the bottom of it, so you know how wide it is, this little, it's not a channel, it's more like it's like a trend line, but it's got cushion, right? It's a feathery trend line. That's how I view it. So it's not a trading channel, but the bottom of this scoops these highs right here. Scoops the high, scoops the high, scoops the high right around on both sides of the 64K top. So when you're making, you want to know how wide this is, that's how you do it. Then you go here, the bottom of it should like hit almost perfectly that macro high or low of September 21st. And then the lower low spike down of January 24th of 2022, the wick pierces through there. And again, it's the 8-hour chart. And this big drop right here, it pierced through it. That is May, that's the May drop. All right, so right now, price fell back into this guy. And you can just tell, once it breaks out of it, it looks to me that it would just want to hit the top of this area, right? As simple as this sounds, let's zoom out. Look at it bouncing on this guy. And once it gets out, it's explosive. Once it gets out, well, that wasn't too explosive, but pops it, then explodes up. Dipping this far into it, I see no reason. Even the smaller one right here, like it would hit this origin line right here. So that's why, visually, I'm identifying this line but zoomed way, way, way in. That is my initiator, which is going to initiate the move up. And price is struggling with it right now, but it's so, so, so close. Let's go to the 1-minute chart so you can see how it's dancing on it. So this is the battle line right now. So you might actually be able to see the 1-minute candles get on top, close on top, close on top, close on top, then go boop, 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 bam. That might be how it plays out if this goes up. But the moment that you see this starting to be used as resistance, then you know that it's going to have to test a little bit lower back down to the blue box before trying up again. Doesn't mean it's over for it. So put the blue box back on. It would likely have to come back down to 16,420 if it does start getting rejected from there. Or maybe find a higher low, a 45-degree angle to there. Maybe, if it gets rejected. And now, since we zoomed out, where'd my horizontal go? Darn it. Good. Because I had it labeled. So this is a horizontal that goes back to the previous market cycle. Because I think it's going to be explosive out of here, it looks like it's going to pass this. And if it uses the origin line as resistance, I think it would come down and use this as support, and then try to go sideways most of the weekend, and not really break down too badly. Because I think the market open of next week on stocks, I think it's going to want to try up one more time for likely a lower high. And if bigger money knows that that's their plan for Monday, well, they're going to keep Bitcoin positioned in a relative to micro timeframes in a position of strength. Midterm timeframes, no, we're weak. Like big timeframes, monthly, it's atrocious. We're falling off a cliff. Have you seen that? On a monthly chart, this shit's falling off a cliff. But, so yeah, let's go to that. So I'm going to go from micro timeframes so you can tell what's going to happen in the next, 48 hours or 24 hours. But now I'm going to go to the opposite. I'm going to go to the macro timeframes to show you, even though it looks like right now the monthly is falling off a cliff, I want you to try to format your brain to that, because most people are not used to thinking on a monthly time frame. And after we go over this exercise, it probably will open some doors back there that you haven't thought of before, specific to formatting your brain to the time frame and what it all means. All right, so let's dive into that. Do I want to be on the top right? I don't think I do. I want to be on the bottom right. Sorry. Let me go to this chart over here. One more quick look at Bitcoin. So let's look at mid time frames first, actually, before we do the month. Why do I have all of these here? Let's get rid of those. There we go. This is what's happening on the midterm time frames. So we just had a bull trap and it fell back into the channel. So now let's zoom into there and we can compare it to what's happening on the micro time frames. Let's go to the 1 hour. So when you look at price this way, what does it look like it's getting ready to do? I think it looks like it's ready to come up and at least touch this, right? So if that were close to 17.6, that would mean two totally different types of analyses are aligning, almost exactly, right? So let's take a look. Ta-da! It really looks poised to break up there. So that is your immediate target. That white line that I had, the horizontal from 2017, I think it would bust through there and use that as support, but it could cause price to hesitate. So that's midterm timeframes. Now let's look at it on the monthly. And if you're new to my channel, you can pause that portion, or go back on the stream or use the recording of this, because I'm recording it and we'll upload it. You can copy that. It's an extremely, extremely useful tool. There we go. All right, check this out. Watch. Imagine that these wicks essentially act. These are monthly wicks. So this is going back to December 2020. This is the June low, the original big dump. And they're on the same plane, right? So if price falls off of there, it's going to accelerate. But there is a major area right here that could, also try to hold it up if it's not on the same plane. So this wick over here is actually below those two wicks, like so. And look what the month is doing. There is nothing else to hold this up until the candle bodies. There's nothing else. Like Bitcoin, it looks like it is going there right now on the monthly chart. It doesn't even matter if this month has not confirmed the closing like this. I mean, it's falling off the cliff, right? And it should begin accelerating on a monthly scale. So what does that mean? Now that we know my thoughts on the monthly scale, it's falling now. It will start accelerating down now. What does now mean when you then think by unit of measurements of days? Sun up, sun down days. What does that mean? What does it mean for tomorrow? Start there. Does it mean tomorrow has to go down? No. Does it mean within the next 5 days it has to go down? No. We have roughly 13 more days in this month. Doesn't mean it has to go down at all in those 13 days. No, it doesn't. Well, what about next month? Yeah, next month's when it should accelerate, right? Okay, well, what about December 5th? Does it have to go down? No. Why? Is it going down, Tim? Like, what do you mean? So that's the difference. Like a month. So let me show you. Why did I say no even to December 5th? Well, if you look at it like this, most red candles that fall off of, some quote unquote cliff. So for example, here you had monthly candles, wick and a wick. And so this month closed below, close into that area. And the next month started accelerating down, right? It started the acceleration. But what did it do? First, it wicked up. How many days on average does that take? Well, it's more than just a few hours. It could be a week. It could be a quarter of the month, and then the last 3 weeks, it makes all the move down. So it still even means that into next month, price, honestly, you would expect it to go up because usually you don't get bare bottom wick candles like this. So this is a bare bottom one. It looks like it went up for the first potentially 1 minute and then went down the entire month. That one, that little here, let's zoom way in here. So when you see wicks this small, that often does happen in the matter of minutes or hours on a monthly scale. So sellers were in a hurry that time. But typically, most red candles have some form of wick. Here, even this one where it fell off a cliff. Let's see how many days that took. I actually don't know. It looks like it might have been a little faster, but let's take a look. Go to the 4 hour. All right, the month started on this hour. All right, so it generally went up-ish for 9 days. And it was a deep red candle that just fell off the face of the earth. And it went up for the first 9 days. And so that's what it means that it's dropping now on the monthly. Take you all the way to December 9th. And I think I've been guessing on YouTube. I've been thinking, around the 7th through the 10th, maybe as long as Christmas before this all moves down. Maybe. I'm thinking more 7. Maybe I've said 7th through the 15th. That's why. I was keeping the monthly backfill in mind, knowing that the month has already fallen off a cliff, pressure is down, but correctly reformatting my brain from monthly to daily, you have to know what that means. So you're not just like going balls to the wall short right now. And so in the meantime, what that might look like on, and this is going to wrap around to what I've been talking about since Bitcoin touched this origin line, right? That it's going to go sideways for about a month since the drop, right? Let's go to, so in a lot of my other YouTube videos recently, after this recent move down, right here. So on this day, that was the 8th of November when the sell-off really began, and I saw this. I knew that the only way Bitcoin ever behaves when you see this type of strong move down to an origin line and it bounces like that are three options. One option is to bounce on top of the origin line but it's for a month and then break down. The other one is it bounces under it for about a month and then breaks down. And the third one is you kind of saddle ride this origin line, go on both sides of it, neither support nor resistance, and then at the end you trickle down, spike up, and go down. That's the only three ways it behaves. And so all of those, I mean, I think the shortest one was 23 days. And that would take you to December 2nd, and that would allow a backfill as well. So, and I was, when I made those analyses on how price moves in that situation, in that moment, I did not have the monthly in mind. I just knew that every time this happens, with no exceptions, price will go sideways for a month and then break down. And it happens to align with formatting your brain to the monthly scale and what's at stake on the monthly. Hopefully this was helpful. If you see on the recording things popping up, go ahead and check them out, playlist, and what it's like within the Discord community. Let's move on to Ethereum. Pouring myself some water so I'm not drinking out of my gallon jug. Oh. Ethereum hasn't moved. I don't think I'm going to go over it unless somebody really wants me to. Yeah, there's nothing happened. It's the same analysis from yesterday. I didn't cover Dogecoin, so let me be a little bit self-serving here and try to convert some Doge fans to real crypto. Well, technically it is a real crypto. All right, let me make myself small real fast. Shit, I don't think I... I don't know. All right, so, weird. All right. Quick Dogecoin price analysis. I'm starting off on the monthly to make the observation that these candles right here, it looks like straight up, straight down type of deal, but historically, when Doge does this, it stays level for a little bit, which implies, once we zoom in on the smaller time frames, that next month, is going to hit these candle bodies. It might be, on a higher or on a lower high basis, which means, you would be short if that were accurate. Not financial advice, if that would be accurate. But it still means it looks like it needs to go up. And it has plenty of time to get there. So it's only November, but it looks like the December candle in the initial part of the month, it looks like it's going to have to hit it. So let's zoom in to the smaller time frames to see what that entails. So from current price, that is 50%. Whoa, that's a big move. All right. Man, will it get there? The monthly sure as hell says it does. I don't know if this chart does. But that's why sometimes starting on the big time frames is key. Ooh. It needs to get over this box. Actually, maybe that. Here. All right, so if you're a Doge fan and you're actively clicking around with it, what will initiate? So when the moment buyers are going to step in more heavily is going to be once Doge gets over these levels, particularly the top one. Buyers might step in right after price gets over the lower number, but I would guess it's going to be the top number is when it takes off. So as you see price, dance up to it, just realize this could end up being resistance, and it doesn't get up there. However, the monthly does suggest over the next 3 weeks through early December, through the first week of December, that it will start making its way, and this will be your key line. It's a very, very, very clear pivot point. And it'll probably just trickle up to that, and then it'll start racing. On its way up to that zone, if that were accurate, because, Bitcoin could ruin the party on this, right? So if this weren't subject to Bitcoin price action, then this would be a lot more statistically probable move. But we are dependent upon Bitcoin, so Bitcoin could ruin this party. For example, yeah, it does get above here, but that's exactly when Bitcoin starts tanking, then it fails, right? That is a possibility. Likely wouldn't happen if Bitcoin is staying level or going up. Where it's going to have trouble getting above on its way there are two natural obstacles. One of the handiest tools that you could possibly have in crypto is that projector tool, 45-degree angle. And it happens to align with this origin line here, which goes back to the beginning of Dogecoin price. So around this level here, around 1133, it could tap it out there. So I would have an ultimate target here with the idea that, if I were longing this, I would personally, not financial advice, I would take at least half profit there and then put my stop at better than break even. Because I would expect a decent chance for it to then act. That would be the top of the move. And the monthly rule, gets an exception. The monthly doesn't play out and it doesn't touch the candle body tops. I'm not going to lie, though. Without that monthly candle, I don't think I would have been guessing it's going to go above here. But those monthly candles really suggest it pretty strongly. And I want to be clear, I can't see that. I can't honestly see that happening without the monthly candle. The short-term time frames are definitely disagreeing with this. Short-term time frames are saying this max. So I'm having a disagreement in my time frame analysis, but we know both are an option, right? Two general targets to the upside. A breakdown point, it's going to be a lot clearer. It's going to be this origin line right here. I will change its colors and I will make it bigger, I guess. Oh, nope, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. Let's zoom out to see what's at stake here. So it's this yellow line here. Big macro bounce on this line. Resistance, resistance. That's a span of over a year and a half, or almost, just over a year and a half. So big moves on it. Macro support, resistance. So this is a pretty big line, right? So now let's zoom in. Now that we know the consequences of this line, it's not a small line. It is an origin line. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Wow, there's not much liquidity in that. All right, so now I'll make this back to its normal size. There we go. All right, so a breakdown, it's going to be this line. That means Doge can test down a whole 9 or 10% and still be fine from a midterm time frame perspective. From a micro time frame, yeah, you can trade 9% move down is very tradable, right? So if you're trying to, even if it's this move does not break down until this line is used as resistance. And then if it is used as resistance, its next immediate target is going to be right here. It's a very obvious horizontal that goes back pretty far in time. So this is your breakdown point. Until this happens, I would say it's more likely to, at bare minimum, hit the level here, 45-degree angle plus an origin line. And your trigger for that, when the move will really get hot, is once price gets over this line. It could be this line, actually. That might be when it accelerates. And that's when the move will really start heating up, and that should get you through Dogecoin for the next 3 to 5 days. All right. Cool. Now I'll get to questions. Hey, Papa Longballs. He asks, how was my anniversary on Tuesday? It was uneventful. My wife is not super well, so we weren't able to do anything anyway, unfortunately. But it wasn't bad. Digital, it sneaks into the back room to listen. All right. All right, DCF community tier member, YouTube tier members asking, hey, 94 cents for near. How low below that can it go? Realistically, if the total market cap goes to 500 billion, it's not 500 billion. Maybe 500 million. Oh, and let me in on the ICP target. Well, ICP's fallen like the cleanest channel in all of crypto. Even cleaner, it's falling it more cleanly than Cardano. And I've covered that before, so copy it, and it's whenever it hits the bottom. That's it. So the actual price will depend on when the big downturn happens, because it's a descending line. So if it takes longer to do it, it'll go down lower, most likely. So near, we're going to go over near protocol. Near protocol is not looking too hot right now, and it has a very obvious target. So let's go dive into this bad boy. Let's zoom out, see what's at stake. This was a cliff, so this zoomed way out to the beginning of price. So this is the lowest it's ever been right here. beginning of price, fell off of this cliff recently, fell back into the channel. Now, if there's nothing in the channel to hold it, what does it have to hit? It has to hit this line. So let's go dive into that exact area. What do you think's getting ready to happen? It could mosey its way there, but it's not going to break out above this line until this is hit. It could get squeezed in there, but boom, and then it could break out potentially if Bitcoin would allow. And when I mean breakout, I don't mean a macro reversal. I mean a tradable move up where it's trading up for the next 5 days. But it looks like it. I mean it's super probable to need to touch this before December starts. Yeah, because let me zoom out to the 30-minute. Yeah, this happens right here where it crosses is November 24th. So it's going to happen before November 24th where it hits a $1.66 target. Your question, though, was bare bottom target. Can it hit 94 cents or something like that? Yeah, if it's already this aggressively approaching the all-time low, it's going to go through it on Bitcoin's next move down with the strong assumption that does happen. I would say it's gonna stay in the top double-decker channel here. So I think it's a macro or the bottom it forms with Bitcoin, which does not mean it'll be the bottom in the bear market. Most altcoins bottom when Bitcoin makes a macro high or low a year plus after its macro low. Cardano included in the last bear market. But it looks like it'll touch this line once it falls through and Bitcoin's moving down to under 13K. But over time, I think this would it wouldn't happen all in the same day because that's probably too big of a drop. That's a 60% drop. Fuck. That has it done that before? Yeah. Yeah, 63. Gosh, I would say if capitulation happens, I would say one of those three get it. Yeah, this is going to have a hard time. There's nothing else to stop it, folks. There's nothing there. Once it breaks that line, it is price discovery down. And these channels are going to keep working. So if it's not above the top one, well, what does it have to hit? It has to, it'll bare minimum hit this one, right? Because it's stuck in the channel. It won't bounce anywhere else. It's not just gonna like do a skateboard move. What do you call that? When you slide against the rail and go up? That ain't gonna happen. This is not freaking Tony Hawk over here. So yeah, I think it's gonna go lower than 94 cents. Yeah, this is an unfortunate structure for it. It's gonna suffer, but there is good news. The only reason Cardano had such an impressive percentage move up in the bull market of end of 2020 through 2021, April 2021, the only reason it did 135x whereabouts is because it went down so low. It got beat up worse than any other big cap. 98.77% drop from its peak high. Very, very aggressive move down. And then because it got beat up so poorly and it did well the next bull market, it's like the rubber band was stretched, harder, and when you let go, it snaps up. But Bitcoin's drop was only 84%, so the rubber band was, it was tight, but it wasn't nearly as tight. So the move up, when you let go, boom, it wasn't as aggressive. So near, if you're a fan of this doesn't mean it's going to go away, right? This on it, yeah. Just because it goes below its all-time low doesn't mean it's going to disappear. It just means it came out at a bad time, and it's going to make new price discovery down lower. It doesn't mean it's going to go away, and honestly, it could set it up to be a better, like it's this unfortunate structure could set it up to be a better play next bull run because it's going to get beat up. That really is a good combo, and going through that last bear to bull cycle really made me realize that Cardano is a perfect example. If you are just convinced, so in your heart you know your project is going to come back, and do at least okay next bull run, then you want it to get beat up worse on price in the bear market, because that means you're going to have better percentage gains. I mean, it could literally. So had Cardano only gone down as much as Ethereum, which was 94%, for example. So this all applies to near, right? Like it actually might be a good situation. Had Cardano only gone down as much as Ethereum, it would have only had a 75x run from the bottom to the wick high top versus 135x. So going down lower can literally double the amount it goes up. Does that make sense? And that is also, yeah, so I haven't thought about this. This is maybe going to change my play a little bit, because I think near's a good one. And if it's going to get beat up that horribly, let's see, how bad would that be from the all-time high? This might be a good play. That'd still only be 97.6%. So, yeah, if it hits the bottom one right here, Cardano still did much worse than that last bear market. So, yeah, these are very realistic. But the worse it gets beat up, the better of a buy it would be, with the assumption that it comes back next time. So, fans of near, you should probably root for this to happen. Because if you don't, it's likely going to happen anyway. All right, so swallow the pill. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I hadn't seen this before. And from a fundamental perspective, I don't know much about near, but what I have heard from reliable sources, it's all good. All good stuff. Yeah, there we go. All right, Harrison asks, do I think MTRG has bottomed? All right, let's check it out. Maybe. It's possible that it meets the, I guess, quote unquote requirement of hitting this baby origin line. It's too young to really have origin lines, right? It might try to stick this triangle here. But if it does, that's right when Bitcoin's probably going to head down. I don't see it reversing very hard off here. I'm not going to lie. And I think crypto is going to take a dump next month. So, if you see it get as high as here, anytime this calendar year, not financial advice. So if I were a holder of this and I was fortunate enough to see it come up to there, I personally would be a seller into that rally. With no hesitation. A very, very, very confident seller. Oop, that's text. However, without it coming down to touch this horizontal right here, or at bare minimum this, I don't think it can have the power to get above this horizontal without that. So if it does go sideways, I think it would then maybe have 1 or 2 days to pop up, but then it's going to break right down because that's when Bitcoin's probably going to go down anyway. The end of the first week or the second week of December, right there. And it would have a better chance of getting here if it came down first, at least to that point. So if you see that it doesn't come down to scoop this, and just realize the chance of it getting over here is not very good. So in general, I guess both of those are no to your actual question if I think it's bottom. No, on it, neither macro nor midterm time frame. And then you said, what was the second one? RFox? Oh, this came out at the top. That sucks. Bad timing. I don't know, man. I mean, this would be another one where I would not go into this early in a bear market. I would wait until Bitcoin has closed at least 2 weeks above the weekly 10, and it's getting ready to be bull market within the next, between weeks and months when that happens. Because this might not come back. They came out at the wrong time. And, all these new cryptos treat their native coin like a stock. Ever since the late 2017, that's almost, I think it might be 100% of all cryptos. Because you don't have the Bitcoin competitors anymore, which are not a company, right? It's a form of money. With no founders and, no people who started off with a bunch of the tokens to pay for marketing. But this came out at a bad time and they don't have revenue. I don't see how they could make it through the market, man, the bear market. So be careful. If you're interested in this, I would specifically wait, like set a rule in my head, wait until Bitcoin has closed 2 weekly candles above the weekly 10 EMA, and then look back to see if this is still going. Not financial advice. ICP, and then, so Harrison also asked about ICP. It's looking pretty bad. Man, that's 5-day looks horrible. And that looks just like Bitcoin falling off a cliff. My goodness. Yeah, this is going to accelerate. Oh, man. All right, but backfill early December. So let's mark off December. So now we can format our brain a little bit better to that length of time on the 4-hour chart. You might get a playable bounce here. I kind of think it's going to stay in this triangle. For the rest of the month. I honestly don't see this going anywhere. So I would say this month it stays in the triangle or breaks down below it. Yeah, I'm not seeing much prospect of it breaking up and out. I could see it hitting the top of this though, which from the bottom is probably very tradable. Look, yeah, 9% is extremely tradable. And then after it breaks down, next target, super obvious, down to here. I mean, it would go straight there. Now, it's time dependent, right? If it happened tomorrow, that's 320. If it happened later in the month, that's 10 cents lower. So it's about a penny difference a day in slope. And feel free to copy that that trading channel. Go back on this one, and you're an ICP fan. Eagle Rand or whatever it's called. Elrond or... Man, that had one hell of a blow off top in November. Woo! Yeah, this one's clearly going to hit this in the... Yeah, this has got a very... It'll probably hit right. Actually, this is too low. Or not low enough. There. It might only hit the top one. I'm not for sure, but it looks... Given my thoughts on Bitcoin, it looks like in December, it'll at least hit the top of this. Yeah, I would say it's going to hit the top of that in December. If it breaks back above this, so shorter time frames, if it breaks back above this horizontal right here, it should have a quick move up to here. Because it's just such big support. Like, it's going to go test it rather quickly. How tradable is that? Yeah, so, but that doesn't get initiated as probable to happen until it's above there. So it's got to consolidate under this line, or it's got to get on top and use it as support and then go. But I don't see it just, coming from below here and spiking up. I think it's got to respect this line a little bit, either from the bottom or from the top. And that the timing of that, it's often how the algos play. It often is timed with the 45-degree angle from the previous high. So that would happen maybe if it... So I don't even see it going up there, to be honest with you. But if we did get some type of rally, the timing on that would be probably later this month, which could happen. Because I don't think Bitcoin needs to go down until next month. So, yeah. This is when it'll start accelerating. And this is the crossroads of this becoming probable. Right now, it's not probable. And then your breakdown point is just this next horizontal here. And if it really starts sliding, make about 20% move down there. Yep. Those are all your key levels. So it's really just dancing in the middle here. Dancing in the streets. It looks like there must be an EMA here. Nope. Nothing. No major EMA. That's the daily 21. Yeah, I still think it would spike above there if it got on top of this guy. That's Elrond or Eagle Rand or whatever it's called. Do you like that name, Eagle Rand? What am I getting that mixed up with? Algo Rand. Okay, I'm getting getting my cryptos mixed up. Mina? Somebody, I'll do Hex. Somebody mentioned Hex. I'll cover Hex. Non-community member question, but screw it, I'm doing Hex. I've had a couple of other people ask too. Poloniac started trading this? Wow. Which chart? Oh, it's way below my bear market targets. So since they did all the marketing push with hexagons, this and that, and all the pretty girls and all that stuff, I already had my boxes down here. Posting on Twitter, hey folks, this is going to come all the way down here at bare minimum. And here we are using it as resistance, the lowest one. Yikes. I didn't realize it'd gone this low. It's about like any other crypto, 94% down. It's actually probably better than more than half of cryptos. So it's not that bad off, all things relative. Yeah, on Bitcoin's next move down, this is going to be hit. It's going to wick under there and probably hit two. It's probably just going to go for 2 pennies. So because there's a psychological number just under this horizontal. So sellers were stepping in there at the psychological number of 2 cents, but buyers just like they couldn't be stopped at the moment. So it went a little higher. So because that happened, I think sellers will go tag 2 cents. And that will be when Bitcoin is heading to the macro point of control, which is macro channel point of control, which is around 14.7. Yeah, 14.6. It'll keep going lower in a bear market though. But that's where that one's going. And it'll probably hit the next one down throughout the next, 12 months after that level's hit. It will hit the next line down that I had labeled. All right, so Adam Barrett, hey, nice to see you here, Adam. Saying Mina, not for sure what Mina is. On Binance. So came out at the market cycle top. And it's only down 92%. That's actually pretty good. For coming out at almost maximum unfortunate timing. And then being down less than the vast majority of cryptos. Despite coming out at the worst, we're in the worst segment. So the chart looks ugly, but, all things are relative. And, if you hang around a group of 1,000 ugly people for long enough, some of them are going to start, being cute after a while because it's all relative, right? So it's that might be a bad analogy, but it might be an inappropriate analogy, but it's a good analogy because that's pretty much what this is. Because a lot of the charts I see like this, I kind of recommend, hey, wait, like Bitcoin needs to get on top of its weekly 10. But honestly, this one looks like you'd be, doesn't look like a bad bet. Wow, it really battled for that line. Wow. That is wild. How long did it do that? It's 2 months riding that line. So that's what I was talking about for near. That's what this might do until it falls off that cliff. It's gonna be trapped under that line. That's nasty. Why did it go? What? That's quite a pump for a bear market when nothing really major happened. Man, I'm having a hard time getting a good feel for this. I don't know. It kind of looks like it wants to round out and break above here to me. On a daily time frame. So as in it could take, 4 more days to get above this line. And then your next targets will just be the next line up, really. I mean, maybe for a lower high here. It could do a little more, but since this 60% run got all sold off, I think sellers are going to step in before that local high is taken out. And it'll probably align right with this area here. Maybe around that point, 74 cents from current price. Be 35% move. And it looks like it's going to, if that were to happen, because it's, so this inverse head and shoulders, if it pops up, it's going to get rejected from there. It's not just going to go all the way up. So it's going to come up, go sideways, and then try up. So it's going to get trapped right here for a few days, like that, and then it could pop up. Yes, it's going to bust out of the shape, get rejected, go sideways, then bust up. If Bitcoin allows. When will that break down? It's going to be actually a pretty obvious spot. I think it's going to be there. Which should align with the support of this shape. So a breakdown point when that becomes, hitting that black triangle and all that becomes improbable is the moment. I would give it until those wicks. I would give it a little bit of leeway. So the probability flip is exactly right here. Above this, 50% likely or more to hit the black triangle. Below it, 50% or more likely to not hit that black triangle. But this is when the probability really starts flipping in favor of the downside, like drastically, like more than 60% likely to head down to this orange line. So that's your probability flood point, I guess. Halfway point and flood point. But until then, it looks like it's easily going to hit this. So once it gets here, it's just a question of, as it's going sideways, is Bitcoin poised to make a move up or is Bitcoin poised to make a move down? And the direction of this move after that happens will be dependent upon that. Because Bitcoin will be moving around that time. Which, honestly, that's late November, so Bitcoin could be moving up at that time. So it could break out. Target lows. Between these two numbers, kind of, if I wanted to DCA into this, I'd probably do it around there, between those two numbers. So 21 cents, 22 cents, 23 cents, 24 cents, 25 cents, 26 cents. Slap some orders in there at each of those levels and rock and roll. And feel fortunate that you don't have a bunch of decimals to work with, so make it easier to do. Yeah, we can look at Trias. It's still holding on. Interesting. Trias is certainly still holding on. I am not shocked, but I am a little surprised. 250 target is technically still on the table, staying above this projector tool, which is the most common area for a pullback to make a higher low, whether it's an aggressive move up or not. I mean, it's staying above it potentially. It looks like it might blast off of this level higher than the projector tool to go up there. This move is not broken down yet, but what does Trias have to do? What is it going to take to get there? Let's dive into how price will move on its way up and then when you can tell that it's beginning to break down. Let's start with the breakdown because it's going to be a lot easier. There are a lot of ways this could happen. Trias could honestly move sideways for a while, get stuck below here, move sideways, and then it can start breaking out of that projector tool. You don't have to make it exact, just kind of, I just start here at the low and make sure it's about, that type of angle, maybe like that. And then it often aligns with the horizontal, and that's usually when, so you'll see over time, when you draw a major horizontal alongside your 45-degree angle, as weird as it is, it helps you time the market, because for whatever reason, price just loves to hit that angle at the most obvious horizontal. Does that make sense? So because it hit this most obvious horizontal that I had here before the move happened here, right? It looks like it might have to go sideways for a bit. I think it might have to satisfy this. So the breakdown point is outside, either below this horizontal. So as low, if it starts breaking below $1.19, then the move is done, and 250 is completely off the table. Or if it does decide to use this area and this area as resistance, $1.77 to $1.64 as resistance, and go sideways, I wouldn't expect the move to be most likely over till it falls out of there. I think you can decide it's not going to go up even before it goes below this point, because if you just, I don't know, the rule of 45 degrees, it really works. And you might actually see that exactly happen. It starts accelerating once it falls out of that. What is it? What's holding it down? So you got the weekly 21. I think okay, let's do this. It's the weekly 21. I really, honestly, if price can get above the weekly 21, which is currently a whole 15% above price, it looks like it's going to go get it again. If it happens to get on top of this and base up, it would probably blast through this level and go closer to 250, like quicker. It would hit 250 or 230 on that next move, and it would happen quickly, within days. So even though I have this big horizontal labeled here, there is a chance that depending on how Trias price behaves at this weekly 21, if it can get on top and base, once it goes up, I think it has a better chance of actually flying through here, then tagging it, then going up. But if it screams up from this posturing and goes like here, I think it would hit its head and have to come back down and wait a while and then come back up. So it would be better if it inches up first, then bases out under this, so then it can pop above it. Yeah, so we got breakout triggers, which is the weekly 21. So don't get excited until it's used this as support. And how it would behave thereafter, how it would behave if it flies past the weekly 21 into this box, it'd probably get rejected. So I've covered all the ways it would move up and what to look out for. The trigger point for that and the trigger point for the move down, and how the two ways that can happen as well. One being more immediate. You would use the bottom of like $1.18 or $1.19. It would fall off that cliff most likely. Or the second way you can go down is it uses this as resistance, goes sideways, then falls out of this projector tool and goes down. And it would probably disregard this horizontal for the most part on the way down. And that's Trias. Still in good shape. I'm impressed. Yeah, it looks like it's getting ready to pop up. Caspa, KAS. You like those small caps. A guy named Dan in the crypto community from right when I got started, he was like my small cap guru, micro cap guru. You kind of remind me of that. What the hell is? Oh, it just came out. This is gonna go a lot higher. I think it's gonna hit this trend line. This is gonna pop up hard. Yeah, this pattern means bulls got this. Whenever you see something like that with small candles like swooping up, it's on a daily. Yeah, I think it's gonna hit that trend line. That's going to be a big move up. That's a 60% push. Wow. Powerful. I'm kind of interested in this. Caspa. $100 million market cap, roughly. Half of the coins are in circulation, which is good. Really good, actually. That's rare. That you see a new coin that starts off with half of it already circulating. Whoa, 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 what's this? Wait, 100,000 million billion. Yeah, no, that's all. Yeah, that's all right. That's a good initial sign. Oh, they have candle charts now? Huh. That's convenient. I cannot believe they took so many years to freaking add that. That's honestly shameful. How is this doing so well on these exchanges? And it's 100 million cap in a bear market? Who is pushing this? There are definitely YouTubers behind this. Ooh, a proof of work layer 1. One block per second. Wow. So a lot of promises in here, but it is new. I mean, it's entering a pretty tough space. Layer 1's, it's a pretty crowded space. So, you know, if I had this, I would, you know, not financial advice, I'm talking about me. If I had this now, I would be excited about that 60% move. But after that, I would be done for a while. I would look to buy at much, much lower prices. I mean, because I wouldn't even care if it kept going up a little bit more. I would just be very happy that I was able to sell it there. Think about it. It's in a bear market. Came out with 100 million market cap, right? So remember when ICP came out with an $8 billion market cap? What happened? Went straight down. Not sustainable. So it's coming out with 100 million in a crowded space in a bear market. Yeah, I would let it cool its tits after that next move. But this next move looks like it's very, very probable. I mean, this is not going to stop there. And it's not going to turn around right now either with an extremely high probability. That's about as bullish of a formation as you can get on the daily chart. These types of candles right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, approaching a neckline like this. Yeah, it's gonna pop real hard. Whenever you see that type of thing happen, that even on the 5-minute time frame, it means it's gonna go. Sometimes it's a fake out and it breaks down, but not usually. Bear low. I mean, I don't know how I could do a bear low on it. It might actually be a 45-degree angle to this. So this is New Year. There you go. Yeah, that looks right. That'd be 68% below current price, which really isn't that bad. It's got a neat website, though. All right. I appreciate the well wishes about my wife. Harrison asked for DAG and skill. Reminds me of playing computer games in the past. Increase my daggers and my bow and arrow skill set. All right. Well, this has a pretty obvious bear market target. It's kind of similar to B-Pro's shape. It might try to hold on here, though. I mean, this actually is doing pretty well in this bear market. I'm not gonna lie. This is a pretty good chart. You need this line on your chart, the one I'm drawing right now. And I would leave it there because when it hits that is going to be a good time to start playing Pokemon cards. Not financial advice, Pokemon cards only. Yeah, it's going to be this line. Buyers won't sustainably stay in until that's it. Skill. Damn, that's next year. Well, I don't know. Maybe it will hold on. Hold on. Damn, this coin is pretty strong. Only 90% down. And that's good for crypto, right? I'm impressed. I still think it's going to hit there, though. Even if it is before May. So if it happens before then, it's going to have to swoop down below this blue box. Somewhere around there would be the low, I would strongly guess. Came out at the 64K top and had no big rally when Bitcoin was going to 69K. It's a little concerning. Almost looks like the team is selling, man. This one might be long gone. I don't know. I wouldn't. So if I were hell bent on buying this, I would force myself to wait until Bitcoin is close 2 weekly candles above the weekly 10 EMA. Yeah, that one might not make it, given its timing. And I know that crypto companies aren't freaking profitable when they come out, so I don't see it. That one's at heavy risk of not making it. All right, so DCF elaborated. If the total crypto market cap went down to 500 billion, where would near be? Probably at the same spot. It'd probably be at 80 cents. It has a chance to hold on, but I really don't see it happening. Yeah, very unfortunate structure there. But that's good for the people who are a big fan of it. All right, Trias I just covered. Media Network. Is that a crypto? It is. On Coinbase. What the hell is this doing? Seriously? I would stay 10 feet away from this sucker. Its entire life. And then one day, no way. There's no analysis for this. It's going to be absolute chaos. Damn, it looks like it wants to charge up. I would use the 1 hour EMAs on this. Whenever you see them start to cross, that's when it's going down. But until the red crosses the yellow, it's going to be fine. Yeah, so this would be an easy way to do it. With bull, so this is a bull market move. In bull markets, like the most foolproof thing is just using the 1 hour EMAs. 10, 21, 55, 89. I'm telling you, it works so well in bull market moves because when shit goes up like a 500%, the 1 hour 89 is like 70% below price, and it usually comes down 70% to touch that, or the 55, which is 50% lower than price. This isn't quite a bull market move, but it's close to it. So these EMAs are going to work. It's going to go up until red starts crossing yellow. So you can even take off price. You can literally just look at it like this. Until you see this red coming like air, boom, its direction is not down. So look over here. So sometimes to get the red to come down, it has to go lower, then it fails above, and then gets stuck. So here to drag this down, right? I got to drag it down. It had to get a little forceful. And then right before the cross, it said, hey, let me go retest it. Okay, yeah, we're going down, right? It might play out very similarly if it were to break down, but regardless, you're going to see this cross. And price will probably be right at the cross when it happens. That's just how these big moves go. So I guess you can do analysis on this. The 1 hour EMAs are kind of a saving grace on explosive moves like this. And that, my dear friends, is a valuable piece of information. Is it as valuable, when price is doing normal 5 to 8% moves? No, it's not nearly as helpful. But in big moves like this, it's money. Money. And in a bull market, when you're competing against retail noobs who it's their first bull market and they think everything's going to go up, it's like stealing candy from a baby. I can't wait. Actually, I'm going to have to. It'll probably be a year and a half or two, but it's going to be glorious. And that's part of the reason why I stress to everybody, even if you're here on an investor standpoint, you don't want to trade all the time. Right now, I'm not even trading all the time. I'm doing a lot of spot trading. But market's been a little too wishy-washy for me to always, I have to do low-term time frames, and it takes up way too much time. I like being able to deal with 1 hour to 4 hour candles, so I'm not staring at the chart constantly. But even if you're coming into crypto with an investor kind of mindset, okay, where do I buy near at 94 cents, all that kind of stuff, or whatever, bear market lows. If you're not at least spot trading, to practice hitting the buy and sell button, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're going to do worse next bull run. So while we're on the topic of bull runs, so just because you are, you've been doing analysis and you watch it hit your levels and you've been confirming, that doesn't matter. You can get as good as that as you want. You have to practice on top of that, literally hitting buy and sell. And if you're not doing that during a bear market, you will do worse next bull market. And I can guarantee it. It's you have to keep the emotional stimuli there so that it's not a stimulus anymore, right? For example, if you were a person who woke up naked at the age of 40, like out of a cave or whatever, he used to be a caveman, and then you see society and somebody puts a shirt on you, well, you're going to feel that shirt. You probably will feel it for like a month, right? But before I said feel a shirt, you weren't feeling your shirt, were you? Because you've worn it so many times, and it's not a stimulus that breaks the threshold of putting conscious attention towards it. That's what you want the buy and sell button to be for you. You just do it so much, it's whatever. I'm telling you, because if you are not that way, and even if you're not trying to make like big moves, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just doing it for the practice, literally, as if going to the driving range to hit some golf balls. You're not playing real golf, or the batting range for baseball, or soccer practice for soccer players. It's not the game, but you have to practice, because if you don't practice, you will do worse. It's the same thing. But unlike sports, the practice you need is specifically emotional. You have to, if you want to optimize your next bull run. And that doesn't mean go do futures trades on 10x. No. It could mean you have $100 and you're not even trying to make it go to $1,000. You're just trying to get as many practice swings as you can, right? And if you can grow it, then great. But you got to hit the buy and sell button, folks. Got to be doing it. Not financial advice. Pokemon buttons. All right, I can't leave without doing KDA and Flux, so okay. KDA price. Do you see that little bitty wick right here on Kadena price? Let's zoom in. This is from when it was dropping from when it just came out on exchanges. See that wick? That's where I think price is going right now on a move up. And it'll at least test this. So let's go dive in to see why this might be significant and get some Kadena. Zooming out. The wick is over here. I'm actually surprised I was able to spot it. Too low of time frame. All right, I'm on the 1 hour chart right now. So Kadena has satisfied this rectangle. And I think in the last Kadena analysis, didn't I say because this is a little lower, it might come get this anyway, the bottom? Not really for sure how I said this would interact here. But you have double support. And it's now proved both as support. So it looks like it's going to get a move up. And usually my rule of thumb is saying actually higher than that. That wick might be a problem though. So that this level right here is where I think it's at least coming up to here. That's a psychological. Oh, that's why it hesitated there. Because his price was dropping, people bought it at $1. Usually my rule of thumb for this shape though is whenever you get like something that looks like an inverse head and shoulders, you look left and you count the second and the third high previous local highs. So this was the first local high from the bottom, not that one. I mean, technically it would be here and here. I would actually count this one as the third. I would put a box there. So so see this wick over here that's in with it as well. So a box from here to there would be my next better guess, which is on the third local high looking left. Yeah, it doesn't look like it would stop at this one. This one's too uneventful. I don't think that'll stop price. So if Kadena, the trigger for that move to start accelerating, I mean, it's going to be obvious. It's going to be this horizontal, exactly, right? It might be right here. So once Kadena gets above 92.32, that's when it'll start accelerating up to $1, and it'll probably make that move all in one swift movement. Obviously, Bitcoin can change that, right? So if it's in the middle of what would have been a swift move, Bitcoin just drops below 16,420, the top of my blue box, then yeah, it'll come down. So keep an eye on Bitcoin as well, right? And the rest of the move, it would have this formation easily allows it, before slowing down, to go all the way up to 106. I would not be surprised if it hit 106 over the next 2 weeks. I wouldn't expect this to happen in a matter of hours, right? So if you're trading this, and hopefully this is not on futures, but trading this on futures, don't expect, it's going to rip up and do that. How big of a move? That's 18% move next hour. No. The trigger point is here. So I think it has an extremely small chance to really get moving until it cracks at this, right? It needs to crack that open. Until then, it's gonna take its time, because that's when the buyers step in, and at the same instant, sellers stop selling as hard. So the buy vector. So as it's moseying up there, the buy and sell vectors are almost the same, but the buy vector's a little bit bigger. And at that moment is when more buyers step in and these sellers reduce, because some of them jump ship and immediately become buyers. So that's the trigger point. To the downside, it's simply this horizontal right here. This could make it accelerate. So using this as resistance, which it's in line with the origin line, so I would just use this horizontal. I think it might trump the origin line for the next couple days. That would initiate a move down. And it would swipe down there. Yeah, it would take that 8.5%, 9% move down if this is used as resistance. But another swoop below here isn't bad. You just don't want to get trapped and use it as resistance, because then if you do, it'd head down. So one more swipe below isn't a death sentence, because this microstructure allows it to, right? Look. So it can dive into here and still keep that structure. It's how it behaves once it's in there, how you're going to tell. So yeah, we got trigger points to the upside, downside, targets for both. That should get you through Kadena in the next couple weeks. So, but if Bitcoin really does take a big leg down the next couple weeks, which I don't see happening, but if it does, then your next Kadena target is going to be this origin line. It would take a pretty nasty dive if Bitcoin decided to dive before December 1st. Be a big one. It's the same analysis as last time, so I don't have to record this. I think I drew this black triangle saying, hey, it's probably going to dance in this triangle for a while. So it's all the same analysis. Breakdown points here. But if it does break down, it has a chance to scoop right back in. Here, actually, maybe there is something kind of new. Flux is starting to come in this black triangle that I drew in my last analysis, which was here. I thought, yeah, it's going to hop along this origin line. And for any new viewers, if you haven't seen origin lines before, be amazed how beautiful that is. And you would hit the like button and subscribe and hit all alerts as well. So you can stay in the know on your favorite altcoin prices and learn how to chart a little bit better too. Because I do things a lot significantly differently than almost anybody else you'll ever see. And those lines I call origin lines, and you only find them on my channel. Okay. So the trigger points to the downside are going to be more complicated than ones to the upside. So let's do the downside first. Again, this is on one of those origin lines, right? I just zoomed out and showed you all of them, so it's sitting on one. It looks like it's going to keep riding it. If it takes a dive below the origin line, it's not necessary. It usually is kind of a death sentence, but there will be buyers stepping in to defend the micro formation here, or the midterm time frame formation. They're going to see it as an inverse head and shoulders. And because, let me go to the hour. Yeah, that's a lot better. So from the middle, it can go sideways till about here before it has to really start moving. That's soon. It might not stay in that triangle for very long. Yeah, I think that formation's going to trump that triangle. Yeah, this is actually ready to move in the next day and a half. So before Friday's closure, I would say it's going to prepare. It's going to be closer to this line or closer to this line, ready to move. And it could move over the weekend. Or that might be why it gets stuck in here for a little longer to get through the weekend. So, but according to the rules of this shape, it really should take off tomorrow. So if it decides to come down and start dropping, just realize that even though it's a big line to be dropping off of because it's an origin line, but I think most people trading this are retail traders. They're going to be looking at this support of the W, and that would be bought up. So if you're trying to short this, just realize that, yeah, maybe that's a tradable move. And I mean, it's 4.5%, but maybe a better play would be let it fall out, then get it retested, which would be actually a better short because this is an ascending line. So if it drops from here, goes down, then touches it again, it'll be higher, right? So you'd prefer to short when it's higher up and at a safer time to short, because if it does that, gets rejected the second pass, that's when it would fall below there. It would not be defended again. So that's how I would play short on this. To the upside, it's got an obvious trigger. Yeah, the upside's going to be easy peasy. And then it can really take off. So knowing how this sucker moves, it would probably hit this wick right here at minimum. It might slow down at this wick, but I don't know. It might hesitate there. And so I would usually use this wick and this wick as another horizontal because they align almost perfectly. But if that happens, this one will probably hit the origin line because it's so close. So if it does end up coming here, it's actually coming up here. It'll go past this and then come below it. That's just how price moves when there are two obvious supports or two obvious resistances. It touches the second one and on the way down too. So if there was like a support here and price came down, it would hit the ascending one just a little lower than bounce. Yeah, and 47.60 is your trigger. That's when it'll start accelerating. I could see it hesitate here, but honestly, I think it would go past it. This looks like it's put in a lot of time, so this could be a good move to the upside. 22% move from current price with a super obvious threshold and a point where you give up on a long. If this starts breaking down, it's very likely going to come down here, then use this as resistance. So those are all the exact pivot points. This is a really clean chart right now. This would be a good one to practice with if you're new. It's as clear as day. There we go. There's Flux. Brokoshi noted Nero's late, but he wanted to say what's up. Just finished some homemade tacos. We'll go back to the beginning of the stream when you're done. All right. Hey, it's good to see you here. All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna jump off of here again. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. New York time. I appreciate everybody being here. And again, if you want to be able to see my live chart throughout the week, because you're playing with crypto and you want to have some signals on what's happening, and you don't want to have to set up your own chart. So what happens is a lot of people who work from home, they've told me they just leave this on their TV and in their living room or whatever, and walk past it and know what price is doing per these lines. So imagine that instead of pissing with your own lines, and kind of gauge where Bitcoin will start taking off. And I even tried with the timing, right? So I put this daily open here telling my folks on the daily update, hey, because it went sideways until 2 p.m., it won't break above here until the daily open, right? So it's not just levels, it's also, I suggest timing as well. And to have access to that would be the Discord Cryptillion tier or any Discord